This is Cyte-09, and he is the one responsible for the gameplay you're currently seeing in the background. Yes, I am just spamming through walls and killing everything while permanently invisible, and if for whatever reason I decide to use my fourth ability, I'll hit for hundreds of millions. I just like what is going on? Cyte-09 is the brand new Warframe with the 1999 update, which was gas, by the way.
This is gas.
Go play that right now, because to build him, you must complete the quest where you will then receive his main blueprint in your inbox. After that, visiting a mirror in the Halvania Mall will allow you to acquire his blueprints for some 1999 currency, or you can complete bounties from the bounty board for a chance at them. Once built though, you get access to arguably one of the best Warframes in the game right now. I'm really not trying to clickbait. No, this is not a Kome type situation. Cyte is just really good, hands down. Cyte-09 is a combat-focused Warframe, with all of his abilities not directly dealing damage, rather just augmenting his gunplay to make them significantly stronger. The main focus you'll see as we go through them is his absolutely insane focus on weak spots. Weak spots are the thing that Cyte-09 exploits the most, and this is made incredibly easy by his first ability, Seek. Casting costs 25 energy and will have Cyte plant a scanning antenna in front of him that will project a wave forward for 60 meters at a 75-degree angle that will highlight enemy silhouettes through walls, but more importantly, put a glowing area around their weak spots. Now all scanned enemies will take 75% more damage on them, and remember that, because it is just one of like 10 multipliers we have going for weak spots today. It gets so crazy, y'all. At the same time, Cyte-09's primary and secondary weapon will gain 10 meters of full punch through, which means that you can straight up just shoot enemies through the entire map as if it didn't exist. 3 of these antennas can be placed at once, which means you can practically sit in a corner, cover all your angles, and just do this. Fair? Nah, absolutely not. Fun? Yes, definitely. One thing you might notice as you rack up these weak spot kills is a stacking percentage in your buff bar, and this is Cyte-09's passive, wherein he gains 1% critical chance per weak point kill, stacking up to 300%, lasting for the entirety of the mission. This is not additive CC, unfortunately. Rather, it just works like the CC provided from mods, but 300% critical chance is always going to be a good thing. So if those two things sounded too good to be true, just wait for Resupply, his second ability. Resupply expends 50 energy on cast to instantly reload his currently equipped weapon and deploy 2 ammo packs of a chosen elemental damage type. Looting these packs will then grant the chosen elemental type to your weapon as a secondary hit, beginning at 25% of your total damage, 50% for snipers. This additional hit is unfortunately not a Toxic Lash copy. As much as it would have been nice to have it work like that, I get why it doesn't, because Heat Lash or Electric Lash would just be so broken. Regardless, it will still force the element chosen per hit, which is done by holding down the ability key and selecting any which one. 6 ammo packs can be deployed at once, and yes, your teammates can use them to gain the same benefits as Cyte-09. Now, let me explain to you why this ability is so insanely strong. Ignoring all the additional hit stuff, we are in a crazy status meta, so getting a force proc of whatever element you want without having to mod for it is absurdly strong. Want viral and corrosive? Easy. How about any base element like heat with a combination element that includes itself, like blast? The capabilities here are endless and also really good. Genuinely one of my favorite abilities to date. A quick tip too is that you can use this one to bypass the insanely long reload times of guns like Trumna or Reconifex, which is another positive. Alright. Moving on, there is Evade, which is again also insanely strong. Jumping backwards and expending 75 energy, Cyte-09 or any Warframe, because it's actually a helmet, will be entirely invisible, this being uninterrupted by abilities or weapon fire, and if you get weak point kills, you will extend the duration of this invisibility endlessly. And heal yourself. Yes, you heard me right. Endless, uninterrupted invisibility just for shooting enemies in the head, which his one makes incredibly easy and his passive really loves. Like, in essence, it's such a simple ability, but it's also so insanely strong and makes him one of the easiest frames to just survive anything. Because enemy AI just kind of breaks. Like, look, they're running towards me right here, but they're not actually attacking me, as in I'm not taking any damage. Finally though, there is a Neutralize, which is actually an exalted ability that makes use of his exalted sniper, the Neutralizer. Who could have guessed? How dramatic. Neutralizer at base is a really good sniper with some pretty impressive stats, particularly that 45% base critical chance and a 3x multiplier. Being the weak point headshot man that he is, later you'll see that we really just aim to increase the damage of doing just that as much as possible, especially with some of the new mods they gave us. Otherwise, the sniper will consume 10 energy per shot with a base mag of 12 and fire rate of 1. Uniquely, when hitting a weak point, the bullet will ricochet 4 times within 10 meters of the last hit target, losing 20% of its damage per ricochet, the amount and damage being unchangeable. If scoped and you alt-fire, you will adjust the zoom on the sniper between its 3 modes of 2.5, 4.0, and 8.0 for 40, 60, and 80% more critical damage respectively. If alt-firing while not ADS, you will instead shoot a cryo grenade that immediately inflicts 10 cold stacks, consumes 3 ammo and 20 energy, and deals a slight amount of damage. Remember that cold now completely freezes enemies at 10 stacks, and will also add 1 more flat critical damage when hitting the cap. Back to the ability itself, it does apply a base 1.25x damage multiplier because of its exalted nature that will scale with strength, and hint hint, we're gonna use a lot of it. Builds wise today, I'm just gonna run you a non-helmet setup that makes use of his exalted sniper and the rest of his kit, and the aforementioned dual Toxos build that is not defined by a single helmet, but I'll give you a couple recommendations. Before getting to the builds, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. These guides take a super long time to make with the quality and effort present, and you definitely don't want to miss all the other videos that I have coming for the rest of the hex. So for Cyte-09 himself, first is actually a brand new aura mod, Worthy Camaraderie. This adds 75% more critical chance on weak spot damage to you and the entire squad, which, should I even have to reiterate why we want that? Otherwise, virtually every strength mod, except you, will be included here because it's just the stat that he wants most of. At 322, not counting the increase from Malt Augmented, Seek provides 242% more weak spot damage, Resupply 161% more sniper damage, and Neutralize a 4.03x multiplier to our sniper's base damage. Otherwise, 175 range increases the ricochet capabilities on Neutralize from 10 to 17.5 meters, and the range punch through combo from Seek to 105 meters and, oh my god, 17.5 meters of full weapon punch through. What the hell? As if you couldn't shoot through the entire map before. Prime continuity counteracts negative duration to 128, which is comfy enough concerning Seek is the only thing that needs to be recast with its already high 44-second duration. Finally, you can use either Streamline or Prime Flow here. I give you the choice because as a channeled ability, Neutralize does satisfy the requirements of Seismic Bond for an easy 30% more ability efficiency when a companion does damage while it is active. So if you are using Seismic, definitely use Prime Flow. Seismic is taken care of by Panzer, which also has good viral for spreading that, and because more crit damage from Tenacious Bond and armor stripping from Vicious Bond is super powerful, why not have that too? The Panzer Claws are pretty simple, but here's what I use. On the Neutralizer, more new mods are going to be used here, specifically Spectral Serration and Primary Acuity. Seeing as Cyte's third gives him perma-invis, we aren't status priming and don't have access to primary arcanes, this mod granting at max rank 330% more base damage just for being invisible is really damn good. Primary Acuity on the other hand gives us a ton of weak spot damage and weak spot critical chance, which combos so nicely with his kit. This is literally Cyte-09 the mod. It does have the condition that multi-shot cannot be modified with it being equipped, but I think the trade-off here is more than worth it. Otherwise, Corrosive should be modded on with the 90%, both critical damage mods and a Prime Bane, because our element of choice from Resupply is going to be Blast. Even with the ricochets, it is still a sniper, and while the damage may be insane, good enough to one-tap an Acolyte, this is a horde shooter, and Blast, being forced by the extra hit, is exactly what this sniper needs to cover all the bases. Status damage is insane here because of all the other multipliers, and the Bane double dipping is the cherry on top. Lastly, there is Semi-Auto Cannonade, which is the flex slot, but grants us 240% more base damage, which is always nice. This build isn't going to be nuking entire rooms or blowing KPM records out of the water, but it plays exactly into the fantasy that Cyte-09 sells, and I think it's been a minute since we've had a Warframe that does that and is also just really good. He has a very unique and interesting playstyle that isn't just explode the tile set over and over. Even Jade, you cast her 1 while you're near 4 and you just blow everything up. Dante, 3, 3, 4, over and over and over again. Kome, we don't talk about Kome. But if you do want to actually set some KPM records, consider using the dual Toxicist Incarnate with him. Cyte-09 was practically made to use them as their playstyles weave together very nicely. Toxos Incarnate form causes headshots to ricochet the bullet to another nearby enemy's head. Combine that with the frenzy buff applied for hitting them there, that grants a base fire rate increase allowing you to shoot this fast and get free toxin damage alongside all the critical chance and weak point buffs that Cyte-09 has, and oh my god, the damage is just so insane. The kill range is also insane because you just shoot through everything. Ridiculous. The only downside here is that because you cannot reload Incarnans, you cannot mod them with resupply. But honestly, that is barely an issue. You wouldn't be able to tell a difference even if it did work. Cyte-09 though, I would honestly recommend dropping his 4th for whatever you want. Something like Roar will always be good, but if you want Dispensary for easy sustain while camping or pull for grouping and looting, like it's all gonna work here because of just how much the gun his 1 and 3 carry, and the 2 is there because if you do want to use a non-Incarnan, which you very much can, it will be very, very powerful. The only other necessity I'd argue for is Arcane Velocity for fire rate on the Toxos, but even that's not necessary. All the footage you're seeing here doesn't use it. Just helmet whatever you want, dump all the strength possible on, and boom, success. Easy AF level cap frame right there. That just about does it for the video, y'all. After this, I will cover the rest of the Hex members because I actually haven't talked about Excalibur, Mag, Trinity, and Nyx before, so this is as good a time as any. Gonna get to work on those ones for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you soon for that and more afterwards. Peace.